I sat quietly in the back of my father's hospital room, watching my sister Victoria parade around in her new Armani suit, already acting like the CEO she assumed she would become. Dad lay unconscious, the steady beep of monitors the only sound challenging Victoria's continuous stream of self-importance. As the new CEO of Morrison Technologies, my first act will be to modernize our approach, she announced to our mother, who nodded absently while holding Dad's hand. It's time this company entered the 21st century. I almost smiled at the irony. Victoria had no idea that Morrison Tech had already been modernizing rapidly over the past year, through shell companies I controlled. Of course, Sarah will keep her position in accounting, Victoria added magnanimously, throwing me a condescending glance. We need someone to manage the smaller accounts. If she only knew that my position in accounting was a cover that allowed me to monitor the company while I quietly bought up shares through various investment vehicles. The smaller accounts I managed were worth more than the entire department she thought I worked in. The board meeting tomorrow will be a formality, Victoria continued. As the most qualified family member, I'm the obvious choice to take over while Dad recovers. Mom looked at me apologetically. Sarah, honey, you understand, right? Victoria has an MBA from Harvard. And I just have my state college degree, I finished for her, the same line I'd heard for years. What they didn't know was that while Victoria was getting her prestigious MBA, I was building an investment empire that now controlled businesses worth billions. My phone buzzed, a text from my real assistant, Marcus. Final share purchase complete. We now own 51% of Morrison Tech through various holdings. Board meeting documents prepared. Ready when you are. I typed back. Proceed as planned. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. Victoria was still talking. My first order of business will be to remove that ridiculous profit-sharing program Dad started. Employees don't need to own company stock, they need to work harder. The profit-sharing program had been my anonymous suggestion to the board, implemented through one of my shell companies. It had improved productivity by 40% in 6 months. Speaking of the board meeting, Victoria turned to me. You don't need to attend. It's really for executive-level personnel only. I nodded meekly, playing my part. Of course. I'll just stay with Dad. Good. She checked her reflection in the window. I need to go prepare my acceptance speech. Mom, make sure my office is ready first thing tomorrow. I want Dad's name off the door before the meeting starts. After she left, Mom squeezed my hand. I know it seems unfair, sweetie, but Victoria does have more experience. I patted her hand, thinking about the documents waiting in my briefcase. Papers showing that Catherine Shaw, the mysterious investor who'd been buying up Morrison Tech stock, was actually her younger daughter. It's fine, Mom. Tomorrow will take care of itself. That evening, I worked from my modest apartment, actually the entire top floor of the city's most exclusive building. Multiple screens showed Morrison Tech's financial data, stock movements, and the elaborate network of companies I'd built over the past decade. Marcus appeared on my video call. Everything's in place. The board members have all received the ownership disclosure documents. They're surprised. I imagine they are. I smiled, remembering Victoria's dismissal of my capabilities. Have our security team ready tomorrow. I suspect my sister won't take this well. Already done. Also, Mr. Chin from the Asian division called. The merger you engineered last month has increased profits by 200%. I nodded, thinking of how Victoria had mocked my suggestion about expanding into Asian markets years ago. Good. Any word from Dad's doctors? He's stable. They expect him to regain consciousness within a few days. Perfect timing. He'd wake up to find his company not only safe from Victoria's impulsive management style but thriving under the leadership of the daughter everyone had underestimated. As I prepared for bed, another text from Victoria. Don't be late to work tomorrow. I'll need those quarterly reports right after the board meeting. I typed back, don't worry. I'll definitely be at the board meeting. I told you it's executives only, she replied immediately. Trust me, I wrote. I wouldn't miss this meeting for anything. The next morning, I arrived at Morrison Technologies headquarters early, wearing my usual modest business attire. The security guards, who secretly reported to my holding company, nodded respectfully as I passed. In the elevator, I could hear two executives discussing the mysterious documents they'd received last night. Catherine Shaw owns how much? One whispered. 51%, the other replied. But who is she? I smiled, remembering the moment I'd chosen that pseudonym. Catherine, my grandmother's name, who'd always told me to play the long game, and Shaw from the chess grandmaster who'd famously said, "Sometimes the quietest move is the most powerful." Victoria was already in the boardroom, standing at our father's usual place at the head of the table. She'd replaced his nameplate with her own and was practicing what appeared to be a victory speech. "As your new CEO, I promise to lead Morrison Technologies into a bold new future." I slipped into my usual corner seat, opening my laptop to reveal not accounting spreadsheets, but the complete corporate structure of my holding companies. A message from Marcus popped up: all board members present. Legal team standing by. At exactly 9 a.m. Harrison Wells, the board chairman, called the meeting to order. Victoria remained standing, her expression triumphant. "Before we begin," Harrison announced, "we need to address the ownership documents distributed last night. As you're all aware, a majority stakeholder has emerged." Victoria waved her hand dismissively. Yes, some investor bought some shares. But as Dad's eldest daughter and most qualified executive Ms. Morrison, Harrison interrupted, "perhaps you should take a seat. This concerns you directly." "I'll stand, thank you." Victoria's smile was condescending. "As I was saying, Catherine Shaw," Harrison continued firmly, "through various investment vehicles, now controls 51% of Morrison Technologies. According to our bylaws, this gives her the right to appoint the new CEO." Victoria's smile froze. "What? That's impossible. Daddy would never sell controlling interest to an outsider." "Miss Shaw isn't exactly an outsider," Harrison replied, then turned to me. "Is she, Ms. Morrison?" Every head in the boardroom turned toward my corner. I stood slowly, pulling out my own stack of documents. "Catherine Shaw is my professional name," I said clearly. "I've been acquiring shares through multiple investment firms for the past year." Victoria's face went from confusion to disbelief to rage in seconds. That's ridiculous. You're just an accountant." "Actually, I picked up her nameplate from the head of the table and replaced it with one reading Sarah Morrison. I'm your new boss." The boardroom erupted in murmurs as I distributed detailed files showing exactly how I'd built my business empire while maintaining my cover in the accounting department. "This is a joke," Victoria sputtered. "Sarah doesn't have the money or the expertise to Your sister," Harrison interrupted, "has been running one of the largest private investment firms in Asia for the past 8 years. The accounting position was just a way to monitor the company while she acquired shares." I pulled up a presentation on the boardroom screens, showing the true scope of my business holdings. Morrison Technologies is just my latest acquisition. My holding company, Shaw Enterprises, controls interests in technology, real estate, and manufacturing across 3 continents. Victoria sank into a chair, her perfect composure cracking. But your apartment, your clothes, you drive a Honda. "Appearances can be deceiving," I replied calmly. "While you were broadcasting your success, I was building something much bigger. That Honda. It's one of 100 vehicles my company owns. My apartment is actually the entire top floor of the Shaw Tower downtown. And these clothes, they're from a boutique fashion line I bought last year. This is outrageous." Victoria suddenly stood up, her voice shrill. "I'm calling Daddy's lawyers." "You mean Preston and Associates?" I smiled. "I acquired their firm 6 months ago. In fact, they helped structure the share purchases that gave me control of Morrison Technologies." The boardroom had gone completely silent, watching this drama unfold. Harrison cleared his throat. "If I may continue," he said, "Ms. Morrison Sarah has already submitted a comprehensive 5-year plan for the company. I must say, it's the most impressive strategic vision I've seen in my 30 years on this board." I pulled up more slides on the screens showing my plans for Morrison Tech. While Victoria was planning to dismantle our employee stock program, I've been developing ways to expand it. Happy employees build better companies. "You can't do this," Victoria whispered, but her voice lacked conviction. "Mom and Dad already know," I replied softly. "I called Mom last night after you left the hospital. As for Dad," I pulled up another document. "He's known for months. Who do you think suggested I take this approach? That revelation hit Victoria like a physical blow. Dad knew. He helped you. Remember last year when he started talking about stepping down? He wasn't just thinking about retirement. He was watching both of us, evaluating who should really lead this company. I played a video recording on the screen. Dad in his office 6 months ago, looking healthy and determined. Sarah has shown me something remarkable, he said in the recording. Not just business acumen but true leadership. While Victoria sees the CEO position as a crown to be worn, Sarah sees it as a responsibility to be shouldered. The board has my full support in this transition. Victoria sank back in her chair, shocked. All this time, you were fooling us? Not fooling, I said. Planning, building, learning every part of the business while you cared about titles. I turned to the board. Let's talk about the future. I've secured 3 big contracts in Asia. Our market share will double next quarter. For the next hour I shared my vision. Victoria watched silently as the board grew excited. Even skeptics nodded. One last thing, I said. Victoria, you're not fired. She looked up, surprised. You're reassigned. You'll lead our new European division under supervision. It's time to build, not just inherit. Why not fire me? She asked quietly. That's the difference, I said. You see business as a way up. I see it as a way to lift everyone. And Dad always said family should stick together. The board left, congratulating me. Victoria stayed, staring at her reflection. How did I miss it all these years? You saw what you wanted, I said. The quiet sister in accounting, living simply, driving an old car. You never asked why I stayed entry-level for 8 years. And Dad? He knew. He found out last year when Shaw started buying tech firms. He said I reminded him of himself, quietly building until the right moment. My phone buzzed. Mom called from the hospital. Dad's awake. He wants you both. Victoria looked unsure. I opened the door. Coming. We can take my Honda. She laughed shakily. The CEO drives a Honda to the hospital? No, I smiled. Today the CEO takes her sister to Shaw Medical Center, the place I bought last month for Dad's care. In the elevator, Victoria spoke softly. I've been horrible to you. Yes, you have, I said. But now you get to learn real leadership. It starts with humility. In the garage, I let her pass my Honda to a Rolls-Royce. I thought we were taking your Honda? The Honda is for when I want to be underestimated, I said. Today, I'm teaching you about appearances and reality. As we drove, I saw Victoria's thoughts change. Sometimes revenge isn't breaking a world. It's showing a bigger one. At the hospital, Dad sat up, tired but alert. He smiled when he saw us. So, he said, the board meeting is over? Yes, I said, holding his hand. Victoria might have questions about your role. He looked at her. Come here. It's time to talk about what makes a real leader. And so began a new chapter at Morrison Technologies. Led by the quiet daughter no one expected. Teaching the sister who thought she knew it all. Under the proud eyes of a father who saw it all coming. Sometimes the quietest person is the one to watch. They might be building an empire while others make noise.